Hello, my friends.
Hello.
And
Am I
welcome.
your friend today?
You are my friend today. Welcome to Ask the Author. I mean, we can change the name. This is like what I threw out there, but I'm kind of like it. Thanks. So I'm here with Veronica Wynne, and she's got a little bit of an announcement. What's the big announcement you have for us today?
Well, my second book is coming out, and I'm very excited about it. Her name is Meet Me Again One Day. And she comes out on June 18th.
Awesome. I know, can you tell us a little bit about the plot? I mean, this is going to be the second in your Meet Me. What is the whole what is the name of this series? Is it Meet Me?
Yeah, I was not creative in coming up with a name. I was just super, excited / just motivated to yeet it out into the world. Mm-hmm. And so I was not thinking very hard about what that would be. If I were going back, I think I would rename it something else, but I think it's too late now. So it is what it is. Also,
we call
I
them
didn't name the town of where they live. If I would have thought that far in advance, for example, our bestie Lauren Morrill named her series the Cardinal Springs series. Because that's where everything takes place, right? Also would have been smart to do that, and then I could market it as a small town romance. I did none of these things.
It's fine. It's fine.
Just a super inexperienced baby author and just wanted to yeet a book into the world.
And you did. You yeeted it out.
Just I was here's a book. Read it.
What do we just call it? The Meet Me series. The Meet Me. So the Meet Me series. So tell us a little bit about the plot of this book. I'm gonna drink while you're talking.
Oh, do it. I have water because I was if I'm gonna talk about my book, I probably shouldn't start to be inebriated. I'll have wine after. Anywho, Meet Me Again One Day is about Maggie and Ethan.
Yeah.
And Maggie is Kate, who is the heroine from book 1, Meet Me at Home. It's her sister-in-law. Mm-hmm. So this is Nick's baby sister, who he really helped raise. They were very close. So here we also have some grief happening, although we're a couple years down the line now. So Maggie and Ethan in chapter 1, we see how they meet. And in chapter 2, we see them break up.
I love their meet cute. I love it.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. So they end up breaking up at the end of chapter 1 because Maggie is different from how we're used to seeing heroines in rom-coms and in romance novel and movie culture in general. We always see these heroines that want to get married, want to have babies, they're just really focused on that type of happy ending.
Yeah.
But that's not what Maggie wants. Maggie does want children, but she does not want to get married. That's just how she is. It's just what she wants out of her life. And Ethan proposes to her at the end of chapter 2. And she's like, well, no. Where have you been?
Right.
Why did you do that? So she breaks up with him, and in the meantime has been considering throwing her hat in the ring for a special project in Paris. She's an architect, women in STEM, and she her firm is partnering with it's a global partnership with another firm under their umbrella, and so she puts her name in the hat for this Paris project and gets it, and she goes to Paris for about 7-8 months. And is just well, this is just my life. I'm moving on. This just has to be.
Yep.
It's not going to work out. Moving on. So she's in Paris for a bit, helps get that project going, and then when she comes back, lo and behold, when she walks into her first assignment back in the States, who is in the conference room but Ethan? So they end up like you've got like some forced proximity in there, some workplace romance, because they're being forced to work together on this project. Maggie didn't know that he was working there, because that's not where he was working when she left. So the rest of the book is about them, you know, kind of like reacquainting themselves with reacquainting each other, you know, like trying to figure out who they are again, you know,
and this as a new sort of new person, pretty much. Like,
yeah, I mean, by the time they are back in the same space together, like in that room again together, it's been about 10 months, I think it is, between the time that she left. That's a
large amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a year that has passed since they have not spoken at all, like not a single word to each other. So, and we see what what experiences she has in Paris while she's gone. We see what Ethan is doing while she's gone, and how he's kind of faring, and I don't know, it's different, but.
So you touched a little bit upon like how this connects to Meet Me at Home, but can you go into it a little bit more, because there's a certain sort of like thing that like there's a voice that happens in this book that I love, but I don't know if you want to actually like talk about it, because I don't want to spoil it at the same time.
No,
but yeah,
I think it's okay. So yes, Maggie is Nick's sister, his baby sister. Nick was like in the middle. He was the middle child, essentially, in this family of like this Irish Catholic family of 7. And because he was so prevalent in her life, it's really like this void for her now that he is gone. And in the first chapter, we actually get to see Nick. Like, we actually meet Nick in this book, because he is with her the night that she meets Ethan.
Right.
So we get to see the two of them interacting, because that's 5 years prior to like the events of Meet Me Again One Day happening. Right. What kind of happens beyond that is that, like, you know, when you think about like any person in your life who has made a big impact on you. Sometimes you might hear like their voice in your head, you know, like sometimes like I hear my grandpa's voice, you know, or like I'll hear my grandma's voice, just not like I need to be in an institution type thing, but like
just it's like a conscience,
might happen in their voice.
Your subconscious,
right? Yeah. And Nick is that person for Maggie, and so she'll just be like going about her day, and she'll hear Nick's voice in her head. Mostly when she is like potentially making a stupid decision, or I mean, what are you gonna do? Or when like she's kind of struggling internally with something, or needs to make a decision about something. He's kind of like her conscience that pops in to make her think. Right. At one point, I asked some author friends of mine, like, is this going like too far off the rails? Like, is it gonna be like, am I setting her up for people to think like something's wrong with Maggie? But
oh God, no, I don't think that at all. I mean, spoiler alert, everybody, I've read this book already, so I will say I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think it's actually nice. It feels like this is what I would have loved from the first book. You didn't need it. You didn't need it in the first. It shouldn't have been in the first book, because I've been weird. Like, this book seems perfect for this book, that we have Nick's sort of like like his
His voice of reason pop in.
Exactly. I think it works
Yeah.
really well. And then you get to know Nick in this book, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, with Kate, I actually wanted the reader to feel his loss because you don't meet him ever.
Right, and the whole point is to like
his
learn
absence to be very
Right.
present.
Well, and also you need to like focus on Liam, so you can't really be focusing on like you can't fall in love with Nick because you need to fall in love with Liam.
Right, because he's already dead, so like awkward, you know.
Same, yes. So right.
Right. No,
R.I.P.
you're right.
Nick. Yeah, R.I.P. Nick.
Sorry, man. You never lived. I'm so sorry. You didn't.
Yep.
Anywho.
Yep. Any hoozles.
Yeah.
Can you tell us some of the themes of the book? The themes. I mean, because I know we'll get there, but I don't know if I should. Okay, how about I do this? So I'll move on to my sixth question because I think that this is like it'll if I can combine the two. So I've read the book as I said, the first draft. I'm excited for everyone to meet Maggie and Ethan, but I know you're nervous about this. Do you want to give your glimpse of your process through this book and also like some of the themes of the book? How about that? Like that's why I was gonna blend them together.
Okay. So when I initially years ago thought about this book, I didn't know that I wanted to write romance yet. I was thinking about it more in terms of women's fiction, and what I wanted was to sort of write like a feminist manifesto in like more palatable terms for, I mean, women wouldn't mind it, but like for literature's sake, like more palatable terms. And what I wanted was, I wanted to show a breakup where, you have a difference of long-term opinion where like maybe she doesn't want to get married and he does.
Right.
So they break up, and then what I wanted to happen was to watch your heroine go do all of the things that like a stereotypical man would do in a breakup, like after a breakup.
Right.
But she'll be criticized for it and he wouldn't be.
Right.
Even like, I mean, we've seen this so many times, right? Like in media, we see men dating tons of women. It's just that double standard. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is allowed to be freaking 50 years old, and he dates models who are 21 years old. And like, do people rag on him about it? Yeah,
no.
they should.
They do. You know, like, they do. They do that. Yeah.
Right, but like he's not being dragged through the mud
like
in every
women would
tabloid and in every single like online forum. Like BuzzFeed isn't writing articles about like what a like slut he is, you know?
Right.
But like Taylor Swift was, you know, and that's just one example because like it's kind of, she's been through like a famous bout of that.
Yeah.
But that happens to women all the time because then women are judged for doing nothing different. It's
right.
You know, same kind of thing. So I wanted to see how that played out with a heroine who was making like stereotypical male decisions after a breakup. Yeah. So Maggie's actions in Meet Me Again One Day are far tamer than what they originally
It could have been.
Mind.
Well, and what they could have been.
Yes.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
Like she's in a relationship that is very much like, it's for what it is monogamous. Mm-hmm. It's very much like they're not monogamous, but they are monogamous. Like they're, for as long as they're together.
Yeah.
They're together. Like the two of them are like, we're just, this is what it is. And I kind of like that part of it. Yeah,
we're here for a good time, not for a long time.
Thank you. Thank you. I was trying to think. Yeah.
That's actually what the title. The title.
That's right.
Chapters,
that is.
For a good time. You know.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, like, and I don't think there's anything, like, because we wouldn't tell, my God, I would tell a young girl her age, be like, just fucking go live your life. Just go fuck just go do it.
Go have a
like,
hoe face. Like,
yeah.
Go do
that
it.
whore over there, go fucking do it, man. Yes. Be that girl.
Absolutely.
Be that fucking girl. Yeah.
Be her.
So.
Like, because you have, like, theoretically this one life to live, and, like, it's your life. So go do what you want with it. Be safe about it, like,
right.
Obviously.
Well,
but I would say that to men, too. Like,
well, yeah. And you and I talked about this. Like, we talked about, like, where the hate's going to come from.
Yeah.
Where the heat's going to come from.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Yes, we talked about this. And it's going to be the people who are like, well, he shouldn't, like, he's not with it because he really isn't with anybody while the breakup happens. But she is. And you just that's what it happens to be. Like, that's not, like, you obviously were like, well, Ethan's going to be with no one. But, like, honestly, if you look at the other way around, most time in romantic fiction, that's the way it is. It's like, if there's a breakup, especially in historical fiction, historical romance, it's like the man goes and still hoards it out, and the girl is like at home being like, wow, I can't fuck anybody. Cool.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, it's just...
and they're not judged for it.
No. But the thing is that, like, you are...
Expected.
Yes. And, like, the fact is that you know this going into it, and so you already know what's gonna, like... The hate that's going to come in is going to be from these same people. And
yeah, but you know what, like, if you are not, if that's not your bag, then that's fine. Like, while I want people to read my books, I'm never gonna ever tell anyone that they have to read it. Like, even friends of mine, like, I don't pressure them to read the book, because if you don't want to read it, don't read it. Like, you have a finite amount of time in your day. Read a book that you want to read. No hard
But
feelings.
you know what, like, I never, like, even though I'm one of those ones who will, like, stop, like, especially a historical romance, and be like, yeah, never. When this, like, actually, there was one recently, I was like, okay, so obviously you've been fucking every person from this to this. This book didn't bother me. Like, this didn't bother me. Like, this wasn't, like, I wasn't, like, even though it's one of my best friends, like, I still was the fact that I was like, it doesn't bother me because it's like, you guys are broken up. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
and
it's
there's no, like, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, misunderstanding about that.
There's no supposition of, like
they are broken up. They have not spoken. She moves out of the apartment. Like, it's not.
Right.
There's no potential. There's no point where Maggie thinks to herself, maybe we'll get back together one day, because
she doesn't want it either. So that's the thing.
No,
it's like she doesn't want it. So
no, because she's like, and they talk about this later, like, these two truths, me not wanting to get married and you wanting to get married, are deal breakers. Like, we can't.
You did not listen to me. Yeah,
you did not listen to me, and if we both still feel that way, this will never work. Like, because, and she says to him, like, you will resent me for not marrying you, and I will resent you for expecting me to marry you after I've specifically told you I don't want it.
Stick in, like, you can, like, replace marry with having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, people can be together for, like, forever and not actually be married, but the fact is that it comes down to a baby, and people are like, wait, you wanted a baby. I told you I never wanted to have kids. So I think, like, if you start to think about it that way, I think it makes more, like, it's easier to, like, make sort of, like, sense
in your mind about it.
Yeah, because I don't think that fucking Maggie wants kids. So, like,
I mean, she does. She says she does. So,
and if that's
part
cool,
of the
that's fine.
that they have. Right? Like,
yeah.
It's. I think about it like, same thing with kids that people say about getting married, and the people have said to me a billion times, you'll change your mind when you're older. You'll change your mind when you meet the right person. You'll change your mind when blah, blah, blah. And sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's just fucking not.
Right.
And I'm very conscious about not saying that to people. Like when I talk about it with like my own child has, you know, she's young and is learning about the world, you know, and she'll say things like, well, when I get married or when I have kids or whatever, and I'm always very careful to say to her, if you decide to get married, sure, you know, blah blah, finish that sentence with whatever we're talking about. If you decide to have children, finish that sentence with whatever we're talking about. You know, it's
right.
I really try to stress upon her that it is a choice. Like, while I think for so long, especially because women couldn't legally own anything or have their own bank accounts or credit cards,
property,
right, like we were dependent upon men. We had to get married because otherwise we would have nothing.
Right.
Now, of course, there, like, over time there became exceptions to that, and you know, women were allowed to work and things like that and earn money, but it's so much more limiting.
Yeah.
And so I think now that women are able to have their own jobs, pay their own way, own property, own homes, have financial independence, we're seeing this kind of wave of women who are like, but why am I getting married then? You know?
Right.
And
it's just
like,
a fucking piece of paper. Like, I could actually,
just a piece of paper. It's an expensive piece of paper, no matter how you
my taxes will be lower if I fucking am single, so
like it's just different.
Yeah.
And I think this is even something that, like, Mr. Veronica and I have talked about, you know, like I personally would rather be in a relationship with someone, whether that's married or just like in a relationship with someone who wants to be with me, not with someone who needs to be with me.
Right.
Because
right. For all the
otherwise
things
they
that
won't
I bring to the marriage. Yeah.
Right. Like I think it's, you know, dear men, like if you should want a wife who, or a partner who wants to be with you, who chooses to be with you, not
right every day chooses to be with you, like not just like today, but every fucking day, chooses to be with you.
And to me, like, that is the same as like whether you're in a marriage or a long-term relationship, like you continue to choose that person.
Exactly. Yep.
It's just a really expensive piece of paper.
Yep.
That is also expensive to undo. So
yep. Was your process for writing this book different than Meet Me at Home?
Yes. In part because of my own time constraints and lack of time constraints. I was, let me see here, I started...
Lack and also more. Like, you had more time, but, like, some leeway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When I was writing Meet Me at Home... I wrote it over such a long period of time.
Right.
But I had started it in the third person. And I started this book in the third person also because I started writing it while I was writing Meet Me at Home.
Right.
And then in July of, not this past year, the year before, when I was writing Meet Me at Home, I was like, this book would really be better in the first person. And then I rewrote the entire book between July and November. It worked out. Like, I think it did.
I think so too.
So this time I knew that I was going to be writing it in first person. And so I did start by taking those pieces that I had in third person and redoing them for first person.
Right.
And when you do that, it's not just a matter of like taking out he's and she's and replacing them with I. Yeah. You're talking about like, you have
view
to
of character.
Yeah, you have to redo or rethink the way that you are describing situations and circumstances and how someone gets from point A to point B and all of that stuff is different. So when I started writing in the first person, I did all the parts that I kind of knew about already. And then I got like 25% in and then just stalled out. I was like, I don't know what to do. And I remember texting XL Prater and being like, I need you to just tell me that I can write another book. Because right now I just feel like I will never again write a book. And she goes, You will write another book. You will finish this book. It will be okay. But I also think that a lot of writers go through that.
I'm sure.
Like, from time to time, especially with like your second book or the second in a series or like something like that, you know, where it's like a new idea that you're introducing and like maybe you feel better about the first one than you did the second one or like whatever. There's always like that fear of a sophomore slump, right?
Yeah.
So what really like was a game changer in October of 2023, I was frustrated with myself for being stalled out at 25%. And I know about a program called the Book Incubator, which
that sounds creepy. That sounds like a creep.
It's done by Mary Adkins, who is she has, I think, 3 books out right now.
Sounds like fucking, like fucking alien.
Yes.
Chest burster. Okay, cool.
Yep. So she runs a program called the Book Incubator, and if you like join the program, you
join the program.
You have like mentorship and editing assistance. It's very cool. I couldn't swing it, but I was accepted into it. I couldn't swing it, and so I follow her on social media, and I follow the Book Incubator on social media, and so every once in a while they do like 10K writing challenges, and so they'll say like throughout the course of the next 10 days you will write 10,000 words, and they'll do like some like writing lessons where Mary will like lead a presentation talking about how to like conceptualize her book and some writing tips and things like that. And then there were a couple days where we just did like body doubling. So somebody would be on Zoom and we would all just be on Zoom ignoring each other and writing so that you're just like, it's like a virtual office, you know, like you're all in the same space but you're not talking to each other. You're just like helping each other focus, because at the end, like you'll report to them like, this is how many words I wrote or whatever. So I did that like 10-day challenge, and it was going very well. I was getting like my word count every day, or at least like averaging to where I would need to be at 10,000 at the end. And amidst that, I was doom scrolling through TikTok one night and
You mean X?
What?
I said, you mean X?
No, I mean TikTok.
Oh, sorry, TikTok. I was like thinking Twitter. Never mind.
Hell, absolutely.
I mean, I'm sorry. On Twitter. I'm sorry. Call me TikTok.
So I was doom scrolling through TikTok one night, and I found this group of writers who were doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah,
They were just on TikTok Live, and they were like 6 or 7 of them just hanging out, like writing. And they would do 30-minute writing sprints. And at the end of each 30 minutes, then they would check in with each other and say, like, this is how many words I wrote. And they would talk for a few minutes and just kind of, like, regroup. And then they would start the timer again. And so I just, like, hung out in the comments and did it and, like, reported in the comments. And then, like, eventually got enough courage to, like, join the live. And that is absolutely how I finished this book, was on TikTok Live. Like, the vast majority of this book was written on TikTok Live.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's fucking great. Like,
it is. It's so helpful. And even now, like, I mean, I do still go on TikTok Live sometimes with them. But we also now have, like, a Discord that we're in together. I just looked. They're doing it right now. I'll join them after. But so, like, they're on Discord right now doing the same thing. You know, like, they're just
right. Like, I found there was like somebody in where I'm at. Like, there was just like a group of like writers and also reviewers, people who write book reviews. If you want to like join, to like just hang out and just write.
Yeah, and
I joined, but yeah,
we had readers that would join us too and just like hang out, and it was so amazing to expand community in that way, because writing is very isolating. But this way, like, you really get to build a better sense of community and bounce ideas off of people. Like, actually, for the third book, I was toying around with a couple of different plot points in my head, and I was like, guys, I just need to like talk it out. Like, I need someone. We'll do like brain dumps where we're just like, this is what I want and this is where I want to go, but like, why? Like, why does this thing, like, I want this to happen, but I don't know like what would be the reason that could possibly happen. And they were like, nailed it, we got it. Like, and that was true. Like, that's how it's gonna be in the book.
Cool.
So it's been really great to have them. And it's so supportive. I really don't think that the book would be done at this point if it weren't for them.
I like it. So, going into the countdown... actually, first, we know T Swift is playing, like, a fucking big part in your soundtrack for the book. I mean,
listen, I need
every
that
book,
next album. Like, I need it. I
okay.
need it.
Okay, all right. Okay, but can you give us some other people that are on this fucking soundtrack besides, like, T Swift?
Yeah, I guess.
I guess. Oh my god, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I made the playlist, so technically you can actually listen
I mean,
to the
I know
playlist
who it is, but I want you to share it with other people.
But the playlist is actually available on my Spotify.
Okay.
So you can listen to it. But other...
You will link me so I can put in the description of this fucking video. So yeah.
I'll send you the link. So Ed Sheeran. I was actually really excited because Maggie is Irish, obviously. I wanted
Gaelic Storm.
I wanted to start off the
Dubliners?
playlist with Galway Girl because
I mean,
like,
that could also it could be the Gaelic Storm. It could be the Dubliners. It could be a whole bunch of
I mean, it could be like a
High Kings.
It could be a million of them. But I really love the song Galway Girl, and I just wanted like
it's great.
It
great.
Just like set the tone for me. Like that song is what made me think about them at the club and like going out and having fun together.
Yeah.
Lewis Capaldi, Morgan St. Jean, Morgan Wallen. Oh, there's 2 Morgans. I didn't even notice that. U2 is on there. Kelsey Ballerini, Tate McRae, The National, Busy, Dido, CJ Starnes, Biz Coletti, Kelly Clarkson, Noah Kahan, Keen, Natalie Jane, David Gray, Foo Fighters, David Kushner, Smashing Pumpkins, and some other like randomly not super well known ones, but like you'll probably know the songs, but you may not know
right.
The artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going into the countdown to the release of this book, because when is this going to be released?
June 18th.
Thank you. What do you want the audience to know about this book?
If you've read Meet Me at Home, you know that I tend to like, I really, and if you've ever listened to the podcast, like I love a character arc. I think that it's what makes books, what makes a book stick in my mind is when you see a character go through some sort of growth arc.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that every book needs to have that. There are plenty of books I have read that have absolutely no development whatsoever.
No, I mean, most of them are monster porn, but yeah.
Right. Okay. Like,
yeah.
And look, there is a place for that, you know? At this moment, I don't have the courage to write them. I'm not saying I won't. I'm just saying that right now I don't.
We've talked about it. We're going to do it.
We're going to do it. It just won't be under the name Veronica Wynne. So like, it's just
a
different brand.
It's going to be something else. Yeah.
It'll be something else. It's a different brand, and that's fine. It's not the Veronica Wynne brand. So
no, it's going to be something.
No.
Something else.
It'll be spicy.
Spicy.
So there's still that growth of character that I'm always looking for in books that I enjoy for both Maggie and Ethan. They both have not handled this well.
No.
Like, not well.
No.
Maggie has character flaws that, like, she's blind to. She just doesn't know. Like, she thinks that she's doing the right thing by just moving on. But what she's doing is like hurting Ethan, and he's hurt her too. I mean, it's not like neither of them is innocent.
You will say that I will say that Ethan is more of the puppy dog in this fucking book than Maggie is. Like,
yeah,
Ethan is like is the he's cinnamon roll. He's very cinnamon roll hero. Yep.
Yeah. He's got a dirty mouth, which I'm not sad about.
I mean, that's fine. It's fine. There's obviously a little bit of spice that goes on with the cinnamon roll. Yep.
Yes. So there, you get that kind of like, emotional character arc. However, people have asked me like, am I going to cry as much in the second one as I did in the first one?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's possible. Like, I know a couple of people in particular, like people who've read the first book, who have lost their brothers. And so I feel like that, and I told them both that, like, that is a potential emotional point for you that would not have, that is emotional in a different way in this book than you might have felt in the first book. So I don't think, like, when people order from my Etsy shop, I send tissues out.
I don't think for this one
I don't know that tissues are necessary for this one.
No.
It's just kind of a funny thing I started doing.
Punch.
Yeah, like, I feel like maybe I'll find something else to send out with this one. But it's something else I want people to know. It is spicier, I think. Do you think?
Yep.
Okay. It's spicier. Like I said, Maggie goes to Paris and engages in activities. And
as we say in the school district. Yep.
I will also say that I had really brilliant French authenticity readers.
Yep.
And they, for a couple of reasons. One, for like literal Paris authenticity. And they taught me things that like I would not have known otherwise. I mean, for example, in this whole, like, because Maggie is an architect, when I was starting to talk about like the building that they're building in Paris, and I was talking about like the Paris skyline, and my French friends were like, actually in Paris proper, like in the actual city lines of Paris, in order to like protect the Eiffel Tower and like make sure that it is still prominent, there is a 6-story limit to buildings within Paris proper.
It's called like something like it's called something like because it was the same thing in fucking I hate to say this, but like Burlesque, the show, the movie Burlesque. There was like, it was called like something like oh god damn it. Anyhow, keep going. I'll look it up. Yep, keep talking.
Yeah, so like there's a limit, and so they were saying, you may not want to say like Paris skyline because that's not really accurate. So I changed it to the Paris cityscape. Like it's a building that you will see in the city, but it is not going to be like this towering skyscraper that you might see in Manhattan.
So there's a limit. There's a height limit for the new buildings as part of the Plan Local d'Urbanisme, or bioclimatic local urban plan. The plan is part of an effort to combat climate change and reduce carbon emissions, while also ensuring Paris remains attractive in the coming years.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
This is actually, it's something that came up also with the architects. So I had a couple of our friends are architects, and they're a married couple, and they also read through the book. I earmarked sections for each of these couples to say, like, these are the parts I need you to focus on, and these are the parts I need you to focus on, because like here we are in France. I need you to read everything that takes place, like the first 12 or 13 chapters of the book, and then the architecture chapters were more like spaced out throughout because Maggie is an architect, right. and there are 2 different projects that she's working on, you know, and so they were giving me a lot of insight about like timelines and things that can happen simultaneously and things that like could stall out a project. And the architects said that there was like a break on that rule for a while. But he said, like, if this, you know, not sure when this book is technically taking place, but if it's taking place after X year or whatever it was, I forgot, you know, then that rule is enacted. So
what if it's for the fucking Olympics?
What year was the Olympics?
Well, I wonder if it's for the Olympics. Because, like, if they had a building that was higher than for the Olympics.
Maybe. Because they have to start building all that stuff so far in advance.
Yeah.
Could have been, yeah. So, yeah, and then, anyway, so so the French readers told me things about Paris life and culture. And I had mentioned at one point something about, like, the patios. Like, Maggie wanted to enjoy, like, patio culture because... that, you know, doors open, sit on the patio with a cup of coffee or like a glass of wine or something and like enjoy patio culture because it's a very big deal.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, but like everyone in Paris, like so many French people smoke that the patios are open all the time. So like, it just,
sorry, just
don't even worry about it.
Everybody's open.
Don't worry
it's fine.
Right. Yeah. But the other thing was that so this couple that read this book, my like French authenticity readers, one of them is from France. Like he was born in France and he married an American. So she also like knows French things and whatnot and speaks some French, but like he was instrumental in French dirty talk.
Yep, you told me about this. Yep,
I was in a Panera reading his feedback. Beet red. Just beet red. Don't worry, I did put footnotes in. So you all get the full effect.
I mean, right?
And as I was like Googling to make sure that I was writing the correct translations down for it, I was blushing all over again. So you're welcome. There's also been a request among my beta readers that Julian get his own book.
I don't think we need it. We're good. I think we're good.
I wondered, like, maybe a little novella.
A novella. But, like, he meets his person. We're good.
But it could be how he meets his person.
Fine. I think honestly, like, he's an enigma. Let's keep him an enigma.
He is an enigma.
Let's keep him an enigma. Like, we don't know about him because he's such an enigma. Like... All right. Is there anything else you want to tell our audience before we shut it down? We're going on 42 minutes, man.
Oh my god. I didn't think we would talk for that long. We did, didn't we?
We did.
Anything else? I
don't think you necessarily need to read 1 to read 2.
No.
But I think you should read 1 just to get the full effect. I think, like, 1, I cried in 2 because of 1. I cried because of every time that Nick showed up in 2, I cried. So I will say that, like, I think if you enjoyed 1, you'll definitely enjoy 2. I think you just, like, stick with it. I think also stick with it. Don't like fucking, oh well, they broke up, but like just
it's
just
a second
stick
chance
with
romance. Like if you're romance readers, like you know it's
it is. And also Ethan is so fucking adorable. Like you will love Ethan. Ethan is great. Ethan is fucking great. But I will say like I think Nick keeps it like I think that the fact that you bring Nick into this, the whole his narrative is great in this novel. Like I really loved it. I really did. Yeah.
Thank you. I liked it too. I'm glad you like it as well.
Yep. All right. So we don't have it actually a physical. Do we have like a physical date? We have like we know it's June, but we do we know what fucking 18th? There we go! Yay! Fantastic. Yep. All right, so June 18th, bitches.
June 18th. Right. You can pre-order the Kindle version now, and I will have Ingram Sparks copies ahead of time. So,
are you accepting ARCs?
I am. I'm going to. I'm kind of giving it the weekend. I don't want to like things get buried over the weekend. So on Monday, maybe Sunday night, I'll start. I'll open up the ARC team to whomever. So I'll start promoting that on socials. And we can include the link below too if you're interested in getting an 100%. ARC. You can certainly fill out the form.
Coolio. So this is gonna be one of our first of our series. So we're gonna have some fun interviews with new authors or authors who have new books coming out. So all right, coolio.
Thank you.
I'm so excited.